Good afternoon, dear colleagues. My name is Daria Kuvshinova, and I'm representing International Cooperation Department, NIVA International. This is about the development of offshore. NIVA International is the largest exhibition of its kind in Eastern Europe, in the former CIS countries, and it is the first time that we are organizing online conference between Russia and India in the sector of shipbuilding, and I would like to extend gratitude to our Indian partners for the support of this event, for the information that they provided to the Indian market, also the Embassy of the Russian Federation in India and the trade mission in India, the Indian Embassy in the Russian Federation Confederation of Indian Industries, and Indian Council for Expert Engineering Solution, EEPC. Dear colleagues, thank you very much for the support of our event, and we sincerely hope that our online and offline events will become a fruitful platform for Indian and Russian cooperation in the sector of shipbuilding. And I sincerely wish all of you good and fruitful work today. So we are starting our conference now. Thank you very much, Daria. And now we turn to the first introductory speech. The Deputy Head of the Trade Mission of Russian Federation in India. Hello. Yes, we are here. Please turn on your sound. Can you hear us? Alexander, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Yes, we can hear you, but the organizers, we don't have the sound. In just a second. Well, the mics are on, as the system shows us. And I can speak in Russian, and then the translation will be provided. Hello, can you hear me? Yes, yes, we can hear you well. That's good. Hello, once again, dear colleagues, dear participants. The part of the trade mission of Russian Federation in India. I would like to welcome our colleagues in Russia and India. Thank you very much for organizing this webinar that is dedicated to the opportunities of cooperation in shipbuilding between Russia and India. And I'd like to note the following. Russia and India, as we know, are strategic partners for a very long time, and they are successfully cooperating in many areas of the economy, the delivery of the capital-intensive commodity items, also the infrastructural projects, and in other sectors. And large-scale reserves for the economic growth is the opportunity to develop and to strengthen our cooperation in the shipbuilding area. And the government of India is adopting a very constructive and pragmatic approach and is implementing a number of initiatives, self-sufficient industry, maritime strategy up to 2030, do it in India, make it in India, and it gives us a very good impetus for Russian shipbuilding facilities and enterprise, and it gives us the signal that we should be developing brand new cooperation in the civil shipbuilding. In Russia, we have accumulated good experience in the construction of ships and vessels, And besides, we have huge potential of the river fleet, taking into consideration their realities and their current situation. More than 12 million kilometers. This is the distance in Russia, and the number of the fleet is more than 12,000 vessels. As for Russia, we can say that Russian industry has made a great progress in transport, in river, in also offline, offshore vessels, river, sea, fleet, crafts, and their internal waterways. Also, their auxiliary fleet and auxiliary crafts, and their trade mission and the trade representative offices for more than 2 years have been embarking on the dialogue that is dedicated to the improvement of our cooperation, and we are quite confident that more and more Russian companies are showing interest in sharing experience and expertise in the design, in the engineering, and our approaches to the construction of the new fleet. We also understand that, taking into consideration Russian experience, the potential of India can be developed jointly. And I would like to stress that we can join the efforts and create a powerful shipbuilding industry in our countries. So these events, like today's conference, are very important. The forms of cooperation, the joint enterprises, joint ventures, service companies, the transfer of technologies, and the signing of their respective cooperation, the training of the personnel, the training of the employees. So this has to be discussed and has to be developed. And then the implementation of infrastructural projects and R&D projects. So today's event, I hope that it will help us to do it in order to achieve positive results on our part. We are rendering support, and we will be doing that in future. We will render full-fledged support on the part of the Russian Federation and India in shipbuilding and other areas. But today we are focusing on shipbuilding industry first of all, in order to make a real progress and to make a real breakthrough. I will not take up more of your time. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'd like to give the floor to our Indian colleagues, the representatives of shipbuilding industry, and they will tell us more about their prospects for cooperation, for building the necessary contacts. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, Alexander Vitalyevich, for your kind words. Dear colleagues, one more remark. If you'd like to listen to the broadcast in English, you have to click on the globus and then you choose their language. The speakers, Russian English speakers, that will be speaking in English. During your presentation, you will have to switch to the English streaming. Now I'd like to give the floor to the head of the commerce wing of the Embassy of the India in the Russian Federation, Mr. Dr. Asim Vohram. The floor is yours, please.
Thank you. Am I audible, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, I assume that you can hear me. Greetings from the Embassy of India, Moscow. I'll try to be as brief as possible and as to the point as possible. My regards to special regards to NEVA and CII for putting this together. I know EEPC is involved too, so thanks to them as well. Look, Let me give a background to why this meeting is happening so people know the context. His Excellency, the Ambassador of India to the Russian Federation, Shri D.B. Venkatesh Verma, when he attended the Arctic Forum, he had the privilege of meeting with the leadership of NEVA exhibition and Ms. Daria Kurshinova, who has been instrumental in putting this together also. She was there. And we requested on the ambassador requested that we have had two rounds of theoretical discussions with the biggest shipbuilders on both sides over 20 during 2020, and we requested neva to put together a concrete event where companies on both sides discuss substantive concrete commercial options. Which is why it was a decision to not involve senior leadership in this event. The idea is to make it action based for now. For the advantage of companies who have not been associated with us in the past, we have a consolidated list of Indian priorities from this 50 or 60 odd Indian companies who have participated in these sessions in the past. We will request Neva to share it with the Russian companies at the end of this event. But let me quickly tell, and this is for the benefit of companies. Sorry. So let me tell everyone that there are 5 or 6 major sectors of priority for us. These are coastal shipping, inland waterways, river dredging technologies, side floater technologies, night navigation, seaplanes, hovercrafts, and training. Um, so, and in particular, and I'll be very specific, a request is that India's biggest and the smallest operators of inland waterways have requested for technologies and Russian partners who can provide us shallow water navigation systems, including side floater technologies. So any such technologies are more than welcome in India. And without taking too much time, I would like to thank Deputy Minister Oleg Ryazantsev. He's the Deputy Minister of Industry and Trade in the Russian Federation, who has been instrumental in bringing together such B2B dialogues. And he has consented to attend India's National Maritime Summit on March 4th. And I would extend an open invitation to all companies on both sides to join us in India's National Maritime Summit. I shall share the link with Ms. Daria and with the organizers of this event. We have some of the biggest companies, including the United Shipbuilding Corporation, attending. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of meeting with Mr. Alexei Rakhmanov, the chairman of United Shipbuilding Corporation, who has said that Russian companies have an abiding interest in India. And he, in his personal opinion, this is shipping and Indian waterways is one sector which has been underexploited. And this is one sector where there is a definite interest on both sides to do commercial and discussions. That's all from my side. Once again, I'm hugely grateful on behalf of the Embassy of India and the Ambassador of India to NEVA for having put this together. Over to you. From our side in the embassy, our contacts are on the website. We promise to give concrete responses to any queries within 2 weeks of such receipt. So either through NEVA or to us directly, we love to work together with everyone to ensure that our companies do good business with Russia. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Vohra. Thank you for the support of the Embassy of India in the Russian Federation. And before we pass floor to Indian partners that are located in India, and they will tell us about the Indian markets, I'd like to introduce the third speaker that is here in the studio today, Mr. Alexei Volkov, Deputy Head, Deputy CEO of Global Trade Marina, the organization that has been successfully working on the Russian market. They are delivering their equipment, their spare part for shipbuilding, and they have been successfully working, cooperating with foreign companies and organizations. Alexei will be here with us today through all the conference. If Indian companies have questions, please write them in the chat, and Alexei will try to do his best to answer the questions. And in the third session, we will talk with him in more details. Alexei, good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you for inviting us to participate in this online conference. And in the third session, I will give my speech about export and import. But if there are any questions, I will be glad to answer them. Thank you, Alexei. And now I would like to give the floor to the Confederation of Indian Industry, Mr. Commodore Mukesh Bhargava, the chairman of the Western region of the Confederation of Indian Industry. Good afternoon. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. A very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. Dobre den, dargie dama и господа. A word about the CII to start with. We act as a partner and facilitator of Indian industry as they strengthen the bilateral trade and economic ties between India and Russia. Russia has been the most reliable partner and trusted partner to the India for many decades. CII believes that our traditional long-term relationship would facilitate the Russian and Indian companies to extend cooperation in many sectors. In its endeavor to enhance economic and business ties with Russia, CII has been engaging with Russia at both government and industry levels for the past several years. We believe that there are many sectors where our two countries can enhance their cooperation, given the large size of both our economies. These include energy, infrastructure, pharmaceuticals, ICT, defense, gems, and jewelry, amongst others. In its endeavor to expand the area of cooperation, CII believes that role of private sector in new areas of economic partnership between India and Russia is crucial. It's significant that Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi has also acknowledged the significant role played by the private sector in the growth of national economy and acclaiming the international prestige for our country. India and Russia defense cooperation has always been a matter of pride for both of us. Shipbuilding is one such area where the positives from existing defense partnership can be translated into robust cooperation in shipbuilding sector for civilian purposes as well. Russia has been stable, reliable, and a trusted partner of India in the defense sector. This mutually beneficial relationship has strengthened over the years, both in terms of industrial as well as government-to-government engagements. This relationship can be effortlessly expanded in ship design, shipbuilding, repairs, logistics, maintenance, repairs, overhaul, inland waterways, and the port sector. India, as we know, lies at a strategic location in the Indian Ocean on the east-west trade route. In the Indian Ocean region, India is a major country to have a fully developed shipbuilding and repair industry, which would need to grow in order to address the increased cargo volumes which have been globally projected. The Indian shipbuilding industry has traditionally been led by the government-owned shipyards. However, we witness an increasing involvement of private sector shipyards in the past few years. The entry of the private shipyards has augmented the design, engineering, and construction capability of the shipbuilding industry in India by bringing a paradigm change in the shipbuilding philosophies. The introduction of digital 3D design softwares, customized tools for enhancing the quality of design, ensuring reduction of reworks through first-time right approach, achieving drastic reduction in cycle times of various shipbuilding activities, easing the repairs and refits of ships using digital techniques and 3D modelings are some of the globally best-in-class modern practices being used by Indian private shipyards, which could be of interest to Russian shipyards as well. The Indian shipbuilding industry has adapted to Industry 4.0 practices to include digitalization, automation, ensuring real-time online quality assurance, thus reducing the entire production cycle of the shipbuilding process. This positions India in providing manufacturing support to Russian shipyards. The Indian shipyards are having state-of-the-art captive design capability and lot of spare capacity. In this context, it is pertinent to mention that few years back, Mr. Strugov, when he visited L&T shipyard, after the visit stated that he has seen so many shipyards in entire Europe and L&T Kattupalli shipyard is the most contemporary shipyards amongst them. Today, both India and Russia are in the process of developing alternate trade routes which will reduce the transit time from Russia to India. In this direction, work has been going on steadily towards creation of International North-South Transit Corridor or INSTC groups. During the annual summit of 2019 in Vladivostok, both sides had promised to create a shipping route from Vladivostok to Chennai. With creation of two routes, Russia and India can get strategically connected in commercial shipping business, and through the strategic location of India in the Indian Ocean region, Russia can reach out to the global market in the most effective manner. We all understand that waterways, inland waterways provide the most economical solution for transportation and passengers as well as cargo on inland. However, despite the commercial advantages, the inland waterways in India, and as I understand, so also in Russia, are losing out to road transport. As a result, the shipyards along the Ganges River in India and the Volga River in Russia are in dire states, fighting to survive. This calls for bringing waterways transports furthermore economic and effective. This is where combining the design capabilities of the Russian side with the detailed design, manufacturing, and state-of-the-art ICT technologies from Indian side can fruitfully combine to restore the inland waterways transport in both the countries. As an Indian industry grows and matures with enhanced participation of the private sector, along with the public sector shipyards, the ship construction capability and capacities are bound to increase in India, with design and construction of complete platforms by Indian shipyards can not only meet the domestic demands, but also meet the demand of the global market. We are now witnessing a Make in India program transiting into Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign or self-reliant in India campaign. Several policy initiatives have been taken by the government which aim to create a long-term momentum towards the growth of Indian shipbuilding industries in the times to come. The program of Sagarmala, which is interconnection of various small and medium ports, as well as inland waterways, leveraging the numerous river networks for inland transportation of personal goods and services, Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat present huge opportunities to Russian shipbuilding industry to enter the Indian market. The focus of these schemes has been improving the ease of doing business on simplifying procedures by removing irritants that make it cumbersome to carry out the shipbuilding business smoothly. For example, giving infrastructure status to the shipbuilding industry in India, exclusion of services of transportation of import cargo by ships on voyage charter from negative list countries, zero rating of services of transportation of export cargo by Indian ships, reduction of service tax incidents on coastal shipping, reduction of central excise duty on capital goods, raw material and spares used for repairs of ocean-going vessels, and implementation of e-payment mode for collection of ocean freight, just to mention a few. Prime Minister Modi ji and President Putin have set a target of $30 billion in bilateral trade between our countries. I am confident that with the active efforts taken by the governments on both countries and associations like NIVA and CII, we are well on track to achieve this ambitious target. The role of shipbuilding in this endeavor cannot be overemphasized. Да, здравствует индийский, русский дружба. Всего вам хорошего.
All the best to you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hargava, for your speech, and we would like to extend our gratitude to the Confederation of Indian Industry. The support NIVA International is hoping to have fruitful cooperation in future with the Indian companies. And I'd like to pass the floor to Mr. Rohinton Engineer, the member of the Working Committee of EEPC of India. It is the largest organization on the Indian market. It has been there for 65 years. They are promoting investments on the Indian markets, and they are presenting their export-oriented companies from different states of India. Mr. Aninia, the floor is yours, please.
Yes. Good afternoon, friends from India and my friends ladies and gentlemen in Russia. Can you hear me? Hello? Is my screen visible? Is my screen visible?
Yes, we can hear you well. Thank
and
you.
Is my screen visible? I've shared the screen. Is it visible?
Yes. Yes, it is visible.
Good.
Yes, we see it clearly. Thank you very much.
So, once again, good afternoon to my friends in India and Russia. EPC was set up in 1955 by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. Today we have 12,000 members. 60% of members are from the MSME sector. We have 42 engineering panels covering the entire engineering verticals and horizontal supply chain of India. We have established members from heavy engineering sectors such as mining, metals, capital goods, machines, building sectors. We have who are major partners with the defense and aerospace industry. We have members from the shipbuilding industry and who are also suppliers of ancillaries to the shipbuilding industry of India. Labor employed is also a major component for the shipbuilding industry. That is the reason why India will be looking at increasing trade in shipbuilding. These are some of the figures which I would not like to read out, but you can share it later on, showing at what is the exports that we have from India in the shipping industry based on the HSN codes. These are our imports into Russia. Another point is that we have a very vibrant Indian shipbuilding industry, both in the public sector and the private sector. In the public sector, we have two parts. We have the central government and the state government. Plus, in the private sector, we have got various shipbuilding industry, all based all over India. As you know, India has a very large coast base, both on the eastern side and the western side of India. So we have a lot of facilities that could be developed. Our Prime Minister has given us the vision of Antam Bahar, that is to develop the Indian industries. So we are looking at building naval ships in a more aggressive way and Indianizing our defense products. Currently, 40 of our 51 naval ships and submarines on order are being constructed in Indian shipyards. Cochin Shipyard is also building an autonomous electric vehicle ASKO for Norway. We are also creating clusters for doing ease of business, and the clusters are being set up in Varna, Goa, and in Konkan. Also, new clusters are going to be developed in Tamil Nadu and Gujarat, and they are going to come out very soon with these policies. And with these clusters, we have ancillary units. So 45 Goan enterprises will be supplying spare parts to and ancillaries to the shipping industry. Now, why Russia? So India and Russia is a gateway to the growing market of CIS and South Asia. Over 80% of our global merchandise trade and 90% of India's international cargo volume are exported over waters. India is host to the world's most important trade crossing connecting the Far East and Europe. Nearly 50% of the container traffic and over 70% of the trade in energy sails through this region. India's existing fleet requires major revamping, with the average age increasing from 15 to 20 years in the last 2 decades. India has also taken various fiscal measures to encourage shipping. So one of them is we have reduced the GST on the bunker fuel from 18% to 5% for the Indian flag vessels. We are providing cargo support to the Indian shipping industry to right of first refusal. We are bringing a parity of tax structure to the Indian seafarers, removal of licensing requirements, and ease of doing business for our companies. The EPC is also organizing various engagements, BSMs, B2B meetings, webinars and conferences, and vendor development programs to link the industry together from India and overseas too. Vendor development and sourcing needs are also met for the MNCs by EEPC. With the growing economy, India's shipbuilding industry is on the threshold of a major overhaul. Collaborations to upgrade the value chain and at the most cost economical aspects are taken into consideration. Strategic partnership is the need of the hour. Looking to the things, India and Russia would play a major role in future for the shipping industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Enhimia, for interesting speech. And we kindly ask you to stay until the end of the event, and there you will be able to talk about the prospects and opportunities of cooperation in the third session. I'd like to use the opportunity to extend my gratitude to Mr. Singh for the support. I sincerely hope that we will be cooperating in future. And I'd like to pass the floor to Anastasia.
Государственного научного центра. Андрей, вам слово.
So we will get back. So we will solve the technical problems of Krylov Institute a little bit later.
Now I would like
I'd like to give you an
make
overview
a review of Russian market
and market, and tell
to
you
describe
about
what's happening.
What is happening right now.
Dear colleagues, can you see the screen? No, we cannot see.
Screen is visible now.
Can you hear me? Yes, if possible. Let me
Yes, we
introduce
can hear you.
myself once again. My name is Anastasia Kobzeva. I'm the head. Thank you very much, colleagues. There are too many microphones switched on. Once again, good afternoon, everyone. Let me introduce myself. I am Anastasia Kobzeva. I'm the head of the Small Crafts Shipbuilding Center of Russian Federation, and I'm the expert of the GMBA, Global Marine Business International Agency. So I would like to describe a little bit the activity of our agency in the Russian market and what are the conditions that affect the development of the industry. First of all, I would like to remind our foreign partners that Russia is a huge country located in the 11 time zones, washed by 4 oceans and 12 seas, and the waterway's length is more than 155,000 kilometers. Many areas of the central part of Russia are located in the sharply continental climate, where the temperature in summer can be plus 45 degrees, in winter up to minus 60. Therefore, the water transport is very important for us, and that affects what we build. From Soviet Union, we have many shipbuilding enterprises and a huge, quickly aging fleet, which previously used to be the most powerful in the world. To solve this problem, a 30-year program for the development of the industry was developed. Most of this program has been realized already. The largest factories were united in the United Shipbuilding Corporation, USC, and the first stage concerned modernization of the fleet and fishing vessels modernization and passengers vessel modernization was realized. More than 860 shipbuilding enterprises operate in the Russian Federation currently, and scientific research works were realized. Its number is 1,500. Talking about organization operating in the Russian market, this should be very interesting for our foreign partners. All vessels of Russian Federation in the Russian Federation are to be registered by the following organizations. So the vessels with the length up to 20 meters and with a capacity of no more than 12 passengers should be registered as not intended for commercial use, and vessels of a bigger dimensions performing commercial activities such as passengers carriage and cargo carrying must be registered by the Russian Maritime Register. All vessels except for small ones operating in the inland waterways must be registered in the Russian River Register. The same is related to shipboard equipment. It must be certified and verified by the relevant authority. I should mention the nuclear fleet as well, because it is one of the prides of ours, and especially nuclear icebreakers, which are actively constructed in the Russian Federation right now. Russia has the most powerful nuclear fleet, and this is first of all related to the development of the Northern Sea route. Coming back to the specific features of our region, a large segment of vessels built in Russia are hovercrafts. As it was already mentioned, the summer navigation period is very short, just 2.5 months. That's why when the iceways are not equipped relevantly, the hovercrafts are almost the only type of transport, and there are no limitations for the noise level of the ships in Russian Federation, so all types of vessels are actively used for the commercial purposes. A unique development of a unique Soviet designer, engineer, created a large direction in the shipbuilding industry of Russian Federation. This is a high-speed passenger fleet of hydrofoils. Just a few words about the history. Mr. Alexeyev created a torpedo boat during the First General Patriotic War, and it can accelerate up to 110 kilometers per hour. And it became the foundation for building of passenger ships. Raketa and Meteor was the name, and they were successfully exported all over the world. In 1966, the first ekranoplan, known as Caspian Monster, was launched at a speed of 430 kilometers, and it could transport up to 300 tons of the cargo. So these types of vessels are actively used currently, and I hope my colleagues will join soon and will describe this in more details. I should also highlight that during 2019 exhibition Niva, we have realized the first electric boat realized project, and it successfully went through trials, testing stage, and I hope my colleagues will also describe it in details a bit later. And of course, since we had a request initially for the shallow water vessels, there will be a speech later on dedicated to this topic from Kostramskoy shipyard. And regarding the projects which were realized for shallow water vessels, our colleagues will also describe this topic after my speech. I will touch a little upon the issue of how the business is developing, how our companies are working. We should understand that Russian shipbuilding companies are mainly depending upon a so-called state order, and of course a lot of them are interested in the redistribution of their orders portfolio, both for the local market and for the export. So talking about statistics, the export from the point of view of cooperation with Russia, the import of the component parts is 4 times higher than the supplies of the ready product, and we depend a lot upon this import of components. But I should mention that cooperation with India from the point of view of export is going on quite actively. 4.5 million euro is the number which comes from international databases, and I think this is a good performance, a good number. And as a conclusion, I would like to say that our industry has huge resources, and to get familiarized with these innovation technologies in the sphere of shipbuilding and offer your developments, I invite you to our international exhibition NIVA in September 2021, and I hope to see you personally. Thank you very much for your attention, and I would like to give the floor to Kostramskoy, to Krylov Scientific and Research Institute, which is ready to present right now. Let's go back to modern technologies. Krylov Research Institute, please connect.
Okay. Okay.
The chief of the management of Krylov State Research Institute.
Okay. Am I on? Okay, I don't get a feedback, but I hope I'm heard because everything shows that I'm on. Can I get any acknowledgement?
We can hear you and we can see you.
Ah, wonderful, thank you. Okay, just a few words about the Krylov State Research Center. It is well known not only in Russia, but abroad, and especially in India. Well, this is a big center which occupies a huge territory in the southern part of St. Petersburg. We have about a staff of about 3,000 people, about 300 of them possess doctorate degrees in different branches of applied sciences and contribute to different areas of research in shipbuilding. In detail, all information about our activities may be seen on our website, but I will focus on several things. We do fundamental research, and we do research in development for shipbuilding mostly, in order to develop rules and methods used by the shipbuilding industry. We also do practical engineering work in the field of preliminary and detailed design of different types of ships and specific equipment, like, for example, propellers and different other propulsors and thrusters. Why we focus on that? We focus and call on the shipbuilding industry to concentrate on the preliminary design, modeling of different types, of which I will speak in detail later. For one simple reason. Well, different researches showed, like this one, that the cost of efforts and direct costs of preliminary design and preliminary research constitute about 10%, or actually design work is about 10% of the overall cost of a ship, while they determine 85% of the follow-on costs, including the production costs. Well, we also use this diagram to show how this translates into the mistakes carried out at different stages of design. Well, if you make a mistake at the stage of preliminary detailed technical design, the price of the mistake is that small. If you make a mistake, if you make a mistake at the preliminary stage of the design, well, the price of error will be quite different. Well, therefore, we call on everyone to cooperate with us in that field. Well, we also do another part, significant part of preliminary design and technical design work, which is modeling and testing. For that, we have ample facilities. To name just a few: seakeeping basins, complex of cavitational tunnels, which allows us to test various types of propellers under various types of operational scenarios. But now, while we're also offering another or a new field for cooperation, which will be the area in which we, or the direction in which our center is moving now. Currently, mostly for shipbuilding needs, we have this proportion of modeling. 95% is physical modeling, 5% is computer-assisted modeling. We are now moving through this stage of hybrid mixed modeling, where the proportion will be changing, but it's not very easy to say which is it at any specific moment. But our goal is to move further to the computational modeling, where the proportion will be 20% dedicated to physical modeling and 80% to computer-assisted one. All this will allow us to move together with the shipbuilding industry, that is design bureaus and shipyards, to this model. While we have a customer who gives us a requirement, we create a fully defined computer model of a ship, and we carry out most of the preliminary tests and some preliminary computer design documentation in computer-assisted environment. We move our model after all types of tests, mostly of computer-assisted tests. We move our preliminary design documentation and technical design to the shipyard or central design bureau, where a smart or digital twin of a future ship is created, with us, of course, together. Once the ship is built, a so-called digital shadow, a copy of digital copy of the ship is created, and it is used both by the customer together with the real ship, and the shipyard to follow on the ship at all levels of its life cycle. Well, speaking of the computer-assisted design and modeling, we use extensively different approaches in computed fluid dynamics, especially for the tasks of preliminary perfection of hull lines and study of dynamic behavior of ships and marine structures. For that purposes, we use our supercomputer center, and in it we carry out a lot of tasks, including specifically tasks of development of special propulsors, which may be, by the way, a special area of future cooperation with Indian enterprises, because we know quite well that it's easy to develop a ship, but it's not always easy or to build a shaft line, but it's not always easy to select, design, and build a proper propeller. Another field in which we are, a new field which is not, which has not been developed well in cooperation with Indian enterprises, is the field of electric propulsion systems. Well, it's not necessary to explain what it is. The idea is well known. We only wanted to say that we're very well experienced in that. There is a number of successful projects built and developed for the Russian Navy and Russian civil shipping companies, including our icebreakers, which have already been mentioned, which have full or hybrid electric propulsion systems. To develop them, we have an entire range of engineering capacities, including test facilities for 5 megawatt and 40 megawatt capabilities. And we can test there an entire system before it is deployed aboard the ship which is being built, which saves time, money, and effort. We have designed this vision of cooperation with Indian enterprises in creating a system of electric propulsion system for any ship. Of course, this work goes hand in hand with a shipyard, but basically it shows that any type of variety of cooperation with Indian industry, not only on the shipyard level, but also on the level of specific enterprises which do produce elements for the future power system and propulsion system of a ship. Here we are also open for cooperation. Finally, I will just say that the Krylov Center does or produces rules, methods, tests, and verification procedures and evaluation of ship designs. We offer design solutions. We offer future design and modeling test solutions, and we provide training. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Andrei, for your interesting report. We know that Krylov Research Center is the leader in the sphere of technological progress on the territory of Russian Federation. And I would like to go back to our speakers. Kostramskoye Shipbuilding Mechanical Shipyard. Andrei Smirnov is the chairman of the board of directors. Kostroma. Good afternoon. We cannot hear you, Andrei. Can you hear me?
My name is Andrei Smirnov, and I'm the chairman of the board of the Kostroma Marine Engineering Factory. We have been on the market for more than 85 years. We are dynamically development, so we are fully equipped. We have state-of-the-art equipment, a very good ships, facilities, and we have been successfully for many years. And the specifics of this factory is the small vessels, and the demand is quite high from the operators. As for propulsor, we use water jets. Just a second, I will switch the slides of the presentation. So on this slide, we show you the assembly line of our boats, of our vessels, but it's a small part of what we manufacture. We have about 57 different types. The pictures demonstrate what is really being manufactured. About 450, 500. This is the dead weight. And we have the water jet propulsors. These are our own developments, and they're quite different from what is manufactured around the world. They can work in different conditions with mud, unlikely what we see in other countries. So what types of vessels do we manufacture? Practically almost all we need: passenger motorboats, oil boats, the tugboats. So actually everything we need, inspection motorboats, and so on. And we are not limited to the line of products that we offer. If a contractor comes to us and he gives us specific characteristics that he would like to see in the vessel, we are ready to cooperate, and we are ready to satisfy the demand as the contractor and our customer wants, of course, in reasonable limits. Besides that, we can design any motorboat overnight. At this scheme, we see a speedy, high-speed motorboat with the water jet and the engine. And we are not dependent from the import, and we are the only one of its kind in Russia. We have reliable equipment, reliable facilities in order to satisfy the demand from the customers. So as for the assortment line of water jet propulsors, we show you here 4 types, but actually we produce and manufacture 5 types of them. And here we see the speed from 200 up to 450. And one nuance is that we are producing these water jets for the shallow water, and about 2,000 tons. This is the gap. This is the small gap for it. And that gives us the opportunity to use those water jet propulsors in muddy conditions. But it can be combined with any engine, with any motor. This can be the Vaca, the Shkera, and other types. About 4,500, 4,000 tons. And we do not have the reductor. We push the button, and it takes it 3 seconds to turn it over. This is a unique column. It's quite simple. It is easily equipped, and it has a very good traction. About 500 millimeters. This is the diameter for this column. These are the columns that we are manufacturing, and it is possible thanks to the fact that we have our design bureau. It's quite small, actually. The facility includes about 300 employees, and everything that we manufacture at our facility is our own development. So we do that, we make it at the facility. We design it and then we construct it. Here we see the passenger motorboat. You can see that on the slide. It's quite unique. 22 tons. This is the dead weight, and it has 2 water jets, and it has many advantages. It is the shallow water, and it is very easily managed, which is also a very important advantage. We are the only company that manufactures these types of passenger motorboats. It can take passengers anywhere to some remote corners, remote places. It is our state-of-the-art development. This is for megapolises, megacities. It's only at the stage of the project. We prepared that, we developed that. It's a very interesting development for the project for the future. And the last development that we have at Yaroslav Motor Facility, we develop and we construct all our engines. These are unique engines and they have very good technical characteristics. And there are no equivalents of its kind, no references abroad that can be compared with us. So this is quite small. This is the steel passenger boat. And based on this motorboat, anything can be manufactured. So you can install some additional units there, and it can be used for any purposes. It's very fast, and it's very convenient in terms of its operation. The same, our development, another motor boat, 701.2. The speed is about 16 kilometers, a little bit more than the previous one. The previous one had 50 kilometers per hour. And the latest development, the design, it's brand new. So these are the developments of our design bureau. The equivalent of the motorboat with 2 motor units. So if you lack capacity, then we install additional engines. And the latest development, multifunctional motorboat. This is for fire extinguishing purposes. Great length, about 15 meters. 2 diesel units with the fire extinguishing pumps, and about 300 meters per second. This is the extinguishing of water. So briefly, this is about our facilities. We are open for cooperation. We are ready to design, to engineer, to construct, to cooperate. We have full potential to be unlocked there. And our main advantage from other Russian enterprises, this is the only one that has its own mechanical shop. And the turning column that I showed you earlier, and the other units that can be manufactured right at the facility. It can turn 360 degrees, and this is the unique characteristic with the unique traction that we are offering. It's quite an efficient solution. So this is in a few words about our plant, about our developments. Andrei, thank you very much. We can have questions in chat. They will be addressed to you personally or to in the general chat. This is a legendary enterprise. Thank you very much for your work, for your unique developments. And we are turning to our next speaker, Deputy Director of More Svязь Automatics, Mr. Mikhail Timofeyev. Are you ready? We are passing you the floor.
Добрый день. Good afternoon to everybody.
Dear colleagues.
So, is it clear? connection with me?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, so I would like to introduce our project and to show you some of our pictures of all electric vessel types we have developed, designed, and constructed already. Actually, we had very good experience with we had very good experience with developing and constructing of all electric vessels, two types of them. Mono bodies like city vaults and ecobuses, and catamarans like eco cruisers and eco vaults. So let me share the presentation with you. On the first page of our presentation is presented our fast speed catamaran eco cruiser, which has batteries with the capacity of 1.4 megawatt hours, and the fastest speed of it is about 20 knots. This boat can be used for close shore exploitation, and the best usage for it is the route from point A to point B. As I said, the fastest speed is about 20 knots. The energy capacity will be enough for about 2 hours on such speed. If you use 10 knots on this boat, then the life duration, day duration, and autonomous drive is about 14 hours. This is our second, or I would say the first child of us, of our type lines. It's EcoVault. EcoVault, it's a catamaran for river usage and probably for close shore usage either. It's medium speed catamaran with cruise speed about 8 knots, and the fastest speed is 15 knots. The passenger capacity is about 100 passengers. So the energy storage is half megawatt hours, and as I said, on the cruise speed, which is about 8 knots, we will allow to the owner to use it for 16 hours. We have our project Imperium is the SPV company from MSA and our Moscow partner Alexander Lebedev. So we collected the engineering competencies of MSA, which is on inside systems engineering and producing for over 15 years. And our SPV project, which is called Imperium, has combined all those competencies and has developed of 4 different types. like as I told previously, EcoCruiser and EcoVolt. EcoVolt, CityVolt, and water buses. Water buses, it's our utility passenger boat for urban exploitation, like ordinary bus, but on inside and inland waterways. CityVolt is our low boat for small bridges and inside channels, like in St. Petersburg, which was constructed like Amsterdam, in Holland by the Peter the Great 300 years ago. Now, what about tax we could reach on our first build and first presented on Niva 2019, this catamaran EcoVolt. This year, from beginning of June till November, we were sailing on this boat very hard. We got all certificates from Russian River Registry. We got certificates on our turnkey batteries from Russian River Registry, also from Russian Marine Registry, which is international member of different certifications societies. So these batteries can be used in different internationally either. What should I say? This boat with sailing of 10 hours consumed just 240 kilowatt hours, with equivalency of about $15 US dollars. The passenger capacity of this guy is about 80 passengers. 80 passengers for 10 hours sailing. And it's equivalent of about 8 rides per day. So you can easily count economics of this boat. For these 8-10 hours sailing, we consumed just 60% of energy capacity. So it will let us to sail about 14 hours on one charger. Actually, if you sail on 7 to 8 knots, then you can charge it just once a day. We also are producing serial charging stations, high speed, fast speed charging stations, and slow speed stations. All our boats already have slow speed charging stations, and then you need just usual grid power, grid three-phase power to charge this guy from integrated inside charging stations for about, let's say, 5 to 7 hours. But if you use our fast speed charging stations with power from 500 kilowatt up to 2 megawatt, then you can charge these EcoVolt for just 1 hour. Just 1 hour to charge, to fully charge it. All these interiors and captain's cabin and all other inside systems were developed by our own, and this saloon is like a Lego or like a transformer, because here you can see two types of exploitation. So like bus with chairs, and then like corporate meetings or restaurants to transform one salon into another takes just 40 minutes. So this is the variety of our main body floats and bridges, the variety of exploitations. It can be passenger transport, charging station, cargo ferry, or supply vessel. This is the variant how to use floating charging stations using gas generating power. So this year, 2020, last year, pardon me, we do exploitation on the Neva River in St. Petersburg. Now we have firm order from the biggest ship operator in Russia for 5 eco cruisers and for several eco buses. 5 eco cruisers will operate from next year in St. Petersburg on the route on the most famous touristic route from the Winter Palace to Peterhof in St. Petersburg. And these boats, these eco cruisers, will replace the old meteors because of they old and very long period of exploitation. Such pictures are shown different types of using the boat for ship owner. What should I say about our? What should I say? Okay, I should show you one extra boat, which is called EcoVolt 3. EcoVolt 3 is for South and for sure India usage, because it has solar power, solar roof, which allows to use this boat for full autonomous drive on 6 knots speed. Now we constructed our shipbuilding facilities in Russia, and this technology can be transferred into Indian market either. We can share and we can provide licensings, manufacturings on your side if you are interested in. But first, we need to find, let's say, pilot lines to start exploitation and to prove all these statements I told you now. Thank you very much, and I'm open to your questions. Thank you.
Mikhail, thank you very much for information. I think it'll be easy for everyone to find your contacts, and you can also share them in the chat here. And we come to the questions. There were some questions, but I think you have already answered. Please tell us where currently these catamarans are operated. This is the question from the trade representative of Russian Federation in India. They operated in Neva River in test mode. Currently, we all understand that St. Petersburg is a touristic city and the traffic on Neva River is very active, and we are looking forward to see this line in our waterways. Thank you very much, Mikhail. It was a very interesting speech. As usual, we are waiting for you on Neva 2021, maybe with 3 projects of the vessels already implemented. And from Russian side, we still have 1 company to present, Design Bureau NGTI. Andrei Armeninov, you connected. Please, I request you to be very brief because we have to switch on to the reports of our Indian colleagues. Andrei, please. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for the chance to speak here. I would like to welcome all participants. And we start. I quickly give the floor to Commercial Director Zak Hamadinov, is the Director Commercial of our company. Our company is located in Ijevsk. We are specializing in the scientific and research work and production of components for transport, machine building, also for automobile building and for the shipbuilding. For the shipbuilding industry, as the import substitution activity, we have, к сожалению, нет звука, не слышно спикера, перевод не может. The translation cannot be rendered because there is no sound from the speaker. Hello, can you hear me? Now we can hear you. For high-speed boats, for power, for defense industry and for commercial use. Here is the line of our chairs. The seats for the operator, for passengers, for navigator, and for passengers who are inside the boat, and for those who are on the deck. The main advantages of our seats is that they are produced of Russian materials, Russian components, though we can produce these chairs using imported materials as well. Particularly talking about the lines of our chairs, we should mention the chair for water displacement vessels and suspended vessel, growth type for high-speed boats, which can resist the overloads up to 5.8 G. We would also like to tell you about our chairs for the deck, which are mainly used for defense and authorities and law enforcement authorities, but also they are used for passenger vessels. We have developed and supplied special purpose ultra light seat that can be located both inside the cabin, inside the vessel, and on the deck. Here you can see also a brief description of the seat, a light seat for different boats and vessels of kayak type. Our recent development, we have started production of filed products with the foamed polyethylene filling. The coating that can be used is rubberized fabric of Russian and foreign production. Specific feature of this cargo is that it can operate even with significant damage. If the the vessel was damaged, it is very light. Only the density of the material is only 33 kilograms per cubic meter. It also does not, it almost does not absorb the water, and it is repairable easily. These are the examples of application of these beams, which are shown here. We work with Russian companies, with the design bureaus, and we supply a lot of seats and different kind of equipment for vessels, and our products were approved by quite a big number of design bureaus in Russian Federation, and these products are also exported or installed on different vessels, mainly on the line of military technical cooperation. And we consider that a ship without a crew is just a metal, let me say so. That's why the safety of personnel is the highest priority for us. That's why, so we invite everyone for cooperation, Indian and Russian colleagues, and we also would like to thank the moderators of Niva exhibition, because we are constant visitors, participants of visitors of this exhibition, and hope we will become participants very soon. Thank you for your attention, and we will be glad to see you both in Russia and in India and at Niva exhibition. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Goodbye. Dear colleagues, thank you very much, Russian companies, for presentations. And I would like to give the floor to Indigo Seaways Company, a company from India, which is widely known in Indian market and is working in the sphere of import of commercial shipbuilding to the Indian market. Mr. Chetan Contractor is the chairman of Indigo Seaways and CEO of Indigo Seaways, Mr. Devendra Manral. Good afternoon, colleagues.
Good afternoon, all. Okay. Yes, good afternoon to everyone sitting in India as well as in Russia. We are DGC Connect Indigo Seaways. Our primary business, our group company is Detox Group of Companies, and we are into waste management and environmental management. We also have our own workshop. For the last 3 years, our company has taken up a new challenge of taking the water surface transport. So we are fortunate enough that we are running our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi's dream project, and that is running in Gujarat in the Gulf of Cambay. We cut across the Gulf of Cambay, cover a distance of 90 kilometers in about 4 hours' time. Otherwise, by road, it would take about 390 kilometers and take about 10 to 12 hours of time. So presently, we are running a service between, we have 2 routes on us, running Ghoga and Hazira. and then Ghoga and Dahej. And we have made the bidding for running 3 more routes, that is Pipavav and Hazira, Pipavav and Dahej, and Pipavav in Mumbai. So what we are trying to say is that there is a vast room for expansion of our group. We are looking to add about 4, 5 to 6 RoPax ferries. I would like to go show the first RoPax ferry that we are running. This is about 108 meters long, has a draft of about 4 meters. We carry about 500 passengers, 100 passenger cars, about 40 two-wheelers, and 32 fully loaded trucks. I would like also to highlight that in India, the loaded trucks carry as much as about 40 to 50 tons. The speed the vessel does presently is about 15 knots. And we are double-ender ferry, as in Russia, you've seen it, that double-ender ferry, this works like a bridge. On one place, it goes and parks itself head-on, and we discharge the cargo, and then we load from there. So the cargo is then facing stern-on, and the next port we go and we use the stern stern ramp, and then the cargo goes out very clearly. We have one deck in which we carry the heavy loaded trucks. We have the second deck in which we carry about 85 cars. And then we have an upper deck in which we carry about 500 passengers. So what we are now looking at it is, since we are growing our fleet, and the government of India Ministry of Shipping is very keen on expanding this trade, because it not only cuts down the logistic costs, it also reduces the time that the vessel, that the goods takes from one end to other end. And moreover, it also it takes away the load from our over-congested highways to underutilized seaways. Here, we would be very keen on finding out from the Russian counterparts if they would have such vessels. Our typical requirement now would be in a range of about 130 meters to 135 meter long, double-ended ferries, and truck carrying capacity to be about 60. So we are talking in terms of lane meters. If we talk of lane meters, it's about 1,000 meter lane meters, and the passengers about 400 to 500 passengers, and the cars in the range of about 100 meters. 100 number cars. And we are looking at a higher speed of the vessels now to be in the range of about 21 knots, so that we should be able to make about 18 knots, because now we need to cut down the time between the two ports. And the draft limitation we have here, because of the, this is a bay in which we have the shallow water in the corners. So we are looking at a draft at the max of about 6 meters, 6 meters with the max draft that we are looking at. And regarding the vessels will be on the IV route. I would say the IV routes are going to be something like the Russian, you call the river routes, that kind of classification we would have. And with that, I would leave it, for people to see if there is any collaboration we can do. We will be open in chartering the vessel on the bareboat charter. We would also be open in buying the fleet that you have because and we can also look into somebody who can give us the designing, but of course designing and building will take a long time. But we're looking to procure vessels in the next about 2 to 3 months, a maximum 5 to 6 months. So we would be looking into if you have some good fleet which can be given to us. Next one. And we are also looking at if there are, because Russia has a lot of experience in this, if we are also looking at strategic partners from Russia, if they would like to join us, share the knowledge with us, and also support us with the fleet, they are most welcome on that. I will just go back and put some of the highlights that we have achieved. This new project was started, the Ropax Koga Hazira. The new project was launched by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the 8th of November. And we had the shipping minister on board. So in a span of about 80 days, that is the 31st/1/2021, we have carried 64,435 passengers. We have carried the cars, which is 11,000 and about 239. The total number of two-wheelers carried is about 3,300. The number of trucks that we have carried is 2,525 trucks. And what it led to? It led to the net CO2 emission reduction. That means if the trucks were to go by road, and and then what they would have given up the greenhouse emission, and then what we use of the ship, if we deduct that, the net saving was 407 tons. The net fuel, with the nation achieved by this single ferry was 267 kiloliters. But most importantly, the ferry saved the man hours which the people use for traveling, and it goes waste. It amounts to about 15.7 years. That's a huge saving, and that is the reason why Indian government and our shipping minister is very keen on taking these projects in a big way. And we are looking for strategic partners in Russia because there is a lot of knowledge and experience you have. We will be open. We will share our email IDs, and we'll be very open to collaborate with with the suitable partners in Russia. Thank you very much.
Dear colleagues, thank you very much for your presentation, for your speech. We are very glad to hear about your interest towards Russian market. We are glad to hear about your interesting programs that are aimed at the improvement of the internal waterways in India. We wish you success in your work, and I'd like to call for export-oriented Russian companies, if you are interested, to hold additional negotiations with Indigo Seaways or other Indian companies. Please contact us, our NIVA international team. We will be glad to organize a meeting to give you the necessary contacts. You have our contact details. We are open for a dialogue with you. We will render all our support, all our help. So contact us, please. And now I'd like to pass the floor to Moh Marine Transport, Mr. Moh Iqbal. This is the company that also does the imports of shipbuilding into the Indian market. Mr. Iqbal, good afternoon. The floor is yours, please. We do not hear you, unfortunately. Please turn on your mic. Mr. Iqbal, we cannot hear you. Please turn on your sound, your mic. The sound is off. Please turn it on.
Is a special terrain with rocky belt. The hovercraft is chosen because it cruises on water, not in water. Yeah, we are intending to deploy it in 3 to 4 months' time. We hope to secure more hovercraft and need the cooperation.
Вас не слышно, вы не выбрали английский канал.
We cannot hear you. You have not chosen an English channel of the broadcast. Please choose the English channel.
Канал английской трансляции находится...
English channel is at the bottom in Zoom. You have to push to click on the Globus button. So you have to click on it and choose the English language.
Can you hear me now? Still not clear?
English
Hello. Yes. This is basically to reduce the maddening traffic signal, and we'll be saving. We are contributing towards the pollution-free transport. The same thing can be replicated in other parts of India because the inland water passenger transport is still undeveloped in India. We look forward for the cooperation from the Russian government and also the companies, because the manufacturers of hovercrafts are very limited, and that is little clustered around in Russia because they use it for the icebergs. But the size of the hovercrafts available in Russia is smaller because it is manufactured according to the regional demands of that country for a relief operation. But in India, we need the larger hovercrafts. It's a short-term ferry, and we can even put it in the southern tip of India, between Jaffna and Rameshwaram, a part of the southern India. We are looking for a cooperation from the manufacturers and also government of Russia to basically support the project through their manufacturers. Thank you very much.
Mr. Iqbal, thank you for your speech, for your presentation. And I'd like to remind Russian companies, if you have any questions about the interaction, cooperation with Indian partners, you can contact us. We will be glad to help you. And now I'd like to start the next session of our conference, and it is dedicated to the Indian manufacturers, production companies, the opportunities of shipbuilding market in India and its cooperation with the Russian market. But first of all, I'd like to pass the floor to Global Marine Trade Deputy Director, Mr. Alexei Volkov. I'd like to remind you that this company has had successful experience of interaction and cooperation with foreign companies, and they have delivered into the Russian market experts from other companies. So Alexei, please tell us about your experience of deliveries, what prospects Indian companies have and which companies are these? Dear colleagues, good afternoon. Thank you very much for this opportunity to take part in this conference. Briefly, I'd like to tell you about our companies. Global Trade Marine is engaged in the delivering of shipbuilding equipment, of experts equipment, foreign equipment, and we understand that the geography of Russian shipyard is from Kaliningrad to Vladivostok, and the renewal of the fleet is their priority task up to 2035. Oh, these shipyards are overloaded, and our company is glad to hear us. But we understand that the volume of work is quite huge, and a lot of vessels are being constructed, and the volumes differ from shipyard to shipyard. And it's not always sufficient, and that helps us to build up the capacities of other manufacturers, foreign as well. It's not a secret that our main partners in shipbuilding deliveries are European companies, but unfortunately, because of the sanctions, it has had a negative impact, and we have reoriented our shipbuilding market, and then we paid attention to other companies, to other countries that are producing and manufacturing equipment for shipbuilding industry. And as for Indian companies, for example, our company has good contacts with Southern Korean partners, and I'd like to show you it as an example of successful work and successful interaction in the shipbuilding sector. As I've mentioned before, because of the European sanctions, we paid attention to the manufacturers of shipbuilding equipment in South Korea. Why have we done that? Because they have very good experience in the tonnage of the vessel. So how do we get acquainted with the companies? I'd like to draw your attention to the following: the exhibitions that take place in Russia, for example, in St. Petersburg, also Korean exhibitions. Every year we try to attend each exhibitions. We send the representatives of our companies in order to work out the list of potential manufacturers for the shipbuilding equipment. The designer on the Russian territory, there are a lot of different characteristics and a lot of different aspects that have to be taken into consideration, and in order to get into this list, we have to do some preliminary work. So at the exhibitions, we are analyzing the market depending on the project, which equipment will be needed for this specific project. And when we receive the individual terms of reference for our company, then we know which company can satisfy this demand, because we have already got acquainted with Southern Korean companies, and then we send them the terms of reference in order to work that out, and then they give us their technical and economical proposal. Another important aspect, KOTRA, non-commercial organization, it is engaged in maintaining ties, establishing contacts between our companies, Global Trade Marine, and Southern Korean manufacturers. So how does that happen? So when we get the individual terms of reference for the technical characteristics, now we go to this organization and it is selecting their manufacturers. Because of the pandemic, we have to do that online, but in favorable conditions, we go there, go on site, go to the plant, and we make sure that they can manufacture this equipment and that there will be no delays in their deliveries. So this is briefly about the interaction, about the cooperation, about the contact that we have, and we sincerely hope that our Indian colleagues will be able to do it the same way. There are other non-commercial, non-profit organizations that can help us to establish the necessary connections, the necessary ties, in order to have the deliveries of Indian shipbuilding equipment to the territory of the Russian Federation. Several times our company has sent their requests to Indian partners about the delivery of shipbuilding equipment, and as for the terms, the timelines were quite favorable if we compare that with our Chinese and Southern Korean equipment. But it's about the specifics of individual cooperation in each case, and we are ready to cooperate. We are ready to maintain ties, to establish contacts, and NIVA International has all our contacts. We are open for cooperation. Alexei, thank you very much for your speech, and we will try to embark on a dialogue between you and Indian partners. And if we have questions, we will have them in the studio. And now I'd like to pass the floor to Mr. Anil Devli, our honored guest, Chief Executive Officer of the Indian National Ship Owners Association. We are glad to welcome you at this event, and we apologize for the delay in our schedule, in our timing. Mr. Anil Devli, please, the floor is yours.
I can see Mr. Anil has technical problems. Mr. Dvanant Patekar, I give the floor to you, the representative of Goa Shipyard. Representative, please.
Good
The floor is
afternoon.
yours. Добрый день.
Good afternoon.
Добрый день.
Just share my presentation. We, Goa Shipyard Limited, public defense public sector undertaking based in Goa, India. Next, we are established in 1957 as Estelario Navais Goa during a Portuguese regime. We have already delivered about 270 warships and petrol vessels, plus 157 small composite vessels also delivered to the Indian customers. Okay, next. We are state-of-the-art infrastructure for construction of vessels up to 135 meters long and 23 meters wide. We can undertake concurrent constructions of 14 ships at various stages. We have our main areas of operations. We have missile frigates, naval OPVs, Coast Guard OPVs, fast attack crafts, indigenous marine equipment, auxiliary vessels, simulators, damage control, firefighting simulators. Then we have fast interceptor crafts, and we have an export market where we have exported OPVs. We have a state-of-the-art R&D technical capability. We have a world-class R&D center with Aveva Marine and state-of-the-art software for modeling with in-house design capability. We use Foran software for frigate design. We have IT, ERP. We have a facility for hydrodynamics. We have a composite technology for smaller crafts. We have concept, preliminary and detailed design facility, and structural and vibration analysis. We have collaborations with world leaders for our shore-based test facility with Russia. We have hovercrafts with Griffon UK. We have fin stabilizers with NIAT UK. We have collaboration with DCNS France for IPMS, CMS. And we have a CPP stun jet system and water jet systems for with Wärtsilä France. Our product profile, we have NOPVs, we have OPVs, we have fast patrol vessels, we have hovercrafts, we have frigates, and we have AOPVs. These are our small boat sections for the fast patrol vessels, the 5-ton boats, the fast interceptor boats. We have survey motor boats, and we have built boats for captain of ports. These are our shore-based training facilities. Then we have sea survival training facility for training crew at sea, and we have damage control simulators for training Navy crews. These are our ongoing projects. We are building offshore patrol vessels for the Indian Coast Guard. Next, we are building frigates in collaboration with Russia. We have a new project for pollution control vessels for the Indian Coast Guard. These are our recent exports, the OPVs, then the fast patrol vessels and the fast interceptor boats, and a simulator. We have a training facility for shipbuilding and composites. These are our indigenous plan for indigenization. We have also collaboration for our artificial intelligence, and then security and surveillance systems, AI based. Okay, GSL is open to business. Thank you very much. I will share my contact details. If you have some more things, you can contact us. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Devanand Patekar, thank you very much for your speech. If Russian partners have any questions to Goa shipyard or interests for cooperation, you can forward your proposals, your questions. Everything will be transferred to Goa shipyard. We are receiving the requests from Russian companies to get Indian presentations. All the materials will be sent after the conference, all the presentations of Russian and Indian participants and the records of the conference, all these will be provided to you, and I give the floor to Mr. Rakhavan, General Manager of Larsen and Toubro Limited. Mr. Rakhavan, good afternoon. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon to all of you and senior dignitaries and delegates from Russia and India. Ladies and gentlemen, am I visible now? Are you able to hear me also?
Yes, we can hear and see you pretty well. Good afternoon once again.
Okay, I'll share my presentation now. At the outset, I would like to thank the Russian Ministry of Industry and Trade, as well as the Russian Trade Mission in India, the NEVA organizers, and the CII and Indian Embassy for organizing this conference on Indo-Russia cooperation in shipbuilding. But I also thank for giving an opportunity to present about our Larsen & Toubro, the L&T, the company of India. Now, L&T is a conglomerate. It has been founded in Mumbai in the year 1938 by two Danish engineers who had come to India for a dairy business representative. When they were not able to go back to their country, due to the World War, they started a small fabrication unit, which later became incorporated as Larsen & Toubro in Mumbai. In 1950, the company became a public limited company with a paid-up capital of US $28,000. And over the years of almost 8 decades, I would say the company has grown into and spread across 30 countries with a revenue of US $21 billion. L&T is the largest engineering and construction company in private sector with interest in projects, defense, infrastructure, development, manufacturing, IT, and financial services. The company is professionally managed with a structured organization with board of directors at the helm of affairs. The company has a market capitalization as on date of around 29 billion US dollars. The financials of the company are very strong, with the credit ratings which has been given by the credit rating agencies as AAA is stable, and financially the company is doing well. The L&T has a unique record of having paid uninterrupted dividend payments since its inception in 1946. The company's operations are divided into various segments and divisions for ease of operation and control. These are the following big divisions of L&T: the heavy engineering, the transportation infrastructure, the power infrastructure, heavy civil infrastructure, water and effluent treatment, buildings and factories, power transmission and distributions, renewable energy, smart world and communications, hydrocarbon, and metals and material handling. And L&T Defense is one of the most important aspects of L&T. And the defense sector is further segmented into guns, missiles, and armored systems, military communications and electronics, weapon engineering and systems, warship building, and submarine underwater building. The warship building is divided into two main segments. One is the new build, and other one is the refits, life extension, and upgrades. L&T undertakes all sorts of the design and construction of new build warships, as well as the refits and upgradation of warships as well as submarines. We have a large shipyard which is located very close to the city of Chennai at a place called Kattupalli. This is the most modern and mega greenfield shipyard, and it has been built from the scratch in just about a matter of 2 years. The shipyard has got a waterfront of 2.2 kilometers. It has got sufficient depth of water to bring in large ships. Easily it can be launched and outfitted along the jetties, or is reduced. Maximum construction is done under the covered area, so we can undertake the building of ships 24/7. The modular construction feature of the shipyard ensures that we are in a position to outfit maximum during the block stage itself. One of the unique features of the L&T shipyard is its ship lift. This ship lift has been designed and built entirely by L&T, and it is LRS certified, and it can carrying capacity of 21,050 tons. This has been completely designed because of the engineering strength of L&T, and is one of the largest ship lifts which is available in this region of Southern Asia. We have got number of dry berths as well as the wet berths, which enables large number of ships can be constructed at the same time. L&T has got a very robust quality control system, and we have certified for the quality management system ISO 9001, and environmental management system ISO 14001, and the occupational health and safety assessment ISO 45001, and information security ISO 27001. Recently, we have been rated the 5-star rating, and we received a sword of honor from the British Safety Council, the first shipyard in the country, in the whole of India, to receive this award. This shows that the L&T lays great importance in the quality, environment, as well as in safety aspects of shipbuilding. We have an excellent in-house design center, which is capable of designing large number of ships. We have excellent skilled manpower. Many of them are from the Indian Navy. Retired naval officers have joined L&T, and they have got the expertise with them, and they're able to design all sorts of naval vessels. You can see the ships which are under construction and which have been already built and delivered to our customers, like offshore patrol vessel, floating dock, interceptor boat, and the fast attack crafts with the conventional propulsion. These all have been designed in-house. Also, we have ready-made designs for naval OPVs, corvettes, and training ships, as well as new generation missile vessels and survey training vessels. Some of the products which we have recently delivered are L&T received an order from Indian Coast Guard for 7 OPVs, and this was won after a big competition among all the Indian shipyards. Out of the 7 OPVs, we have already delivered 6 of them, and all 6 of them have been delivered ahead of schedule. You also would like to know that first of the class of ship, which was done in 25 months from key laying to commissioning, it is an Indian record. Also, the 5th OPV was cleared all its sea trials in a single sortie, showing that the shipbuilding industry especially is been now spearheaded by L&T with a quality system in place. The other largest contract which L&T won was the interceptor boat. This was won against international competition. The contract for 54 number interceptor boats was awarded by Indian Coast Guard, and all the 54 numbers of IBs have been delivered to them. And most of the vessels have been delivered on time or ahead of time. These aluminum boats can do a speed of 45 knots, and they are propelled by water jet propulsion. One interesting project which we did is this floating dock for the Indian Navy. It is the first indigenously designed and constructed floating dock. This floating dock has got a capacity of 8,000 tons, and it has been totally indigenously designed in our Warship Design Center and delivered to the Indian Navy, and it is in operation near Port Blair. It has got a length of 185 meters and has got the covered structure so that we can work 24/7. Apart from the warship and the platform deliveries and projects which has been undertaken by L&T, L&T is also into commercial shipbuilding. We have in the past delivered very unique and specialized vessels. The big lift, which has got the heavy lift carrying capacity, has been built and delivered to Netherlands. And the second project which we undertook was a roll dock. It is a ro-ro vessel which has been designed, built, and delivered to Netherlands, a company called Roll Dock. And we have also undertaken the platform support vessels, which has also been delivered to a foreign customer in Qatar. Apart from that, L&T has also undertaken the anchor handling tug, 90 tons as well as 150 ton capacities. Recently, the anchor handling tug of 150 ton bollard pull capacity has been delivered to Chilean Navy. That shows that these products are being accepted throughout the world, and because of the quality and timely deliveries. Besides repairs and besides shipbuilding, the L&T also undertakes the refits and repairs of various types of ships. In the past less than 10 years of time, we have undertaken more than 100 defense and commercial ships refit. And you can see this in the picture that we have undertaken the refit of corvettes, the fleet tanker of Indian Navy, survey vessel, offshore patrol vessels, fast attack craft, landing ship tank, floating dock, as well as many commercial vessels. We are also one of the 2 shipyards which has been participating in the 87s and EKM program, MRLCs. Indian Navy is still considering these 2 shipyards for offloading the refit to us. And a Russian team has already come and also assessed, and we are in close contact with the United Shipbuilding Corporation on this. So what we offer, L&T is offering a total solution. Not only it's the platform design and engineering, which you have seen, L&T has got a huge capacity for manufacture and has got skill sets and infrastructure for manufacture of equipment also. L&T has been delivering weapon systems like BrahMos, the Anush launcher, anti-submarine warfare rocket launcher, and as well as the motion control systems like steering gear, water jets, stabilizers, and winch systems. We also undertake manufacturing of ship lift and transfer system, and also halo handling system like halo traversing system, halo landing grid, and hangar shutters. Besides this, we also undertake many of this, the platform management system and the combat management system, the integrated bridge system, and also electrical and magnetic systems like deperming, degaussing system, and power generation and distribution system. Apart from that, the L&T also undertakes the surveillance radar system, fire control radar, ship-based telemetry and tracking system manufacturing. So as a value proposition, L&T is offering an established track record, has got an established track record in defense programs, state-of-the-art facilities which is available in our shipyard, as well as in our warship design and submarine design centers, project management and global sourcing skills, in-house technology and process development capability, highest financial strength in the industry, an experienced and multi-skilled workforce. Thank you.
Thank you for your speech. Very interesting presentation. Indian dockyards are highly technological and developing very actively.
So the Indian market is becoming the leader in shipbuilding, and I'd like to remind you that among Russian companies, we do not only have shipbuilding companies, but also shipyards, shipping companies, the representatives of other companies. So if you are interested in any type of cooperation, technical cooperation with Indian companies, you can contact us or directly. You can contact those companies, and we will be glad to foster the dialogue. And now I'd like to pass the floor to our last speaker for today, the representative of Cochin Shipyard, a well-known shipyard, and we are glad to welcome Mr. Sivaram Swami, the General Manager of Cochin Shipyard. Please, the floor is yours, Mr. Swami. Mr. Sivaram Swami, Representative, General Manager of Cochin Shipyard. Mr. Swami, can you hear us? Could you please say something? Because we do not hear you now.
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, now we can hear you well. Good afternoon once again. We are glad to welcome you at our conference.
Hi, good afternoon to all. I hope you can see our slide.
Yes, we can clearly see your presentation. Thank you.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Greetings from Cochin Shipyard. Yeah, coming to the context, India actually, we see India actually have a huge growth driver to be like, say, a future cargo hub of the world. And to meet that requirements, we potentially see there is a huge demand for maritime infrastructure to cater for this increasing demand. So India as a country, we have around 7,500 kilometers coastline and like say huge 111 odd notified national waterways catering to our inland uh, shipping segment. We have close to ports and 2,400 per annum cargo capacity.
Dear colleagues, please unmute your mic because we can hear you and it creates obstacles for us.
The XM cargo potential around 50,000 crore plus over the 5 years, and which will be actually a critical driver to build capacities to handle the cargo. On the coastal sector, over the next 5 to 10 years, we see a poised coastal cargo traffic and an increase of around 6 to 8 times from the present. So there is a significant domestic cargo to drive the vessel demand as well. In the inland sector, the inland transportation represents potentially a large market, close to 700 plus ships, and that is required in a period of next 10 years. The port crafts, and that's actually even was a subtle segment, which also will show a significant demand in the coming years. And vessels such as dredgers, tugs, pilot crafts, crew boats, etc., are also actually seen as potentially emerging segments in the coastal and inland shipping. And other major segments would be, of course, the defense, the domestic defense, as well as the offshore and the fishing industry. India is actually a strong case for vibrant shipbuilding and ship repair industry, as the previous presenters already point out. And we feel there are four key drivers to make this change, and those are the demand. The major cargo hub there is a model shift in the transportation solutions. So this is a sure case for demand generation. And next is the shipyard capability for building these high-end, the latest technology-driven vessels. And we need strong basic design capabilities. And next, the shipyard automation like Shipyard 4.0 concepts and the necessary infrastructure. And this needs a strong partners and partnership to develop Indian industries' capabilities. And the third driver is the ecosystem development. This mainly comprises of the vendor parks, ancillary industries, and we need to develop centers of excellence for equipment manufacturing, etc. And for this, actually, we need a strong ancillary support and an ecosystem need to be developed to this effect. And the fourth driver would be the fiscal and regulatory support. And on this, the major aspect would be the government-to-government tie-ups and ease of doing business, which our government is already doing tremendous effort. And further, the financial support, then targeted foreign direct investments, and the labor reforms, which all would be a conducive for assuring a growth-driven shipbuilding and ship repair industry in the country. Indian yards, there are almost 35 plus shipyards in India, and presently around 20 plus shipyards are currently operational. And we feel that there is ample scope for improvement. There's a strong case for Russian companies to invest and collaborate with the Indian companies, like um, few the shipyards which are presently having enough infrastructure, adequate infrastructure, but are not operating at present due to lack of business. Russian companies can seriously look into their revival and invest and collaborate for a fruitful market and growth. Uh, CSL in this aspect have a strong experience in delivering vessels across various segments such as offshore, merchant vessels, coastal vessels, and inland vessels, then barges and harbor tugs, and the fishing vessels. Coming to a few recent trends in the shipbuilding industry, the future of shipbuilding is driven by global sustainable initiatives such as green technology, autonomous vessels, and cost-efficient technologies. We feel India has significant opportunity to build scale in short sea and niche vessel segments. And we foresee a growth potential of uh, 6 to 8 times in the coming next to 5 to 10 years. On the green and autonomous ship technology, we feel there is a sharp growth in alternative fuel segment, autonomous vessels, data analytics, exhaust treatment to meet the MARPOL compliance requirements, and solutions for responsible and sustainable shipping. Indian shipyards are witnessing a pull already in this direction, such as autonomous and high-end full electric and hybrid vessels. LNG vessels are also a potential demand area for short sea and bunkering, especially with respect to the green shipping aspect. And this segment in India is expanding rapidly. Various players are investing heavily on to building up the LNG infrastructure along the coast, as well as to cater for the uh, inland navigation. On the alternative fuels technology, CSL is highly looking on to the battery electric vessels, and hydrogen fuel cells can also be selectively explored with right fit partners. Some projects presently with Cochin Shipyard in this line are: first is autonomous fully electric ferry for SCO-AS Norway. And another project which is having a huge potential to transform the urban transportation within Kochi, Kerala, India, is the new generation electric boats for the Kochi Water Metro. This project is a first integrated multimodal transport system in the country and one of its kind. And these vessels are intended to operate in 16 routes covering around 76 kilometers, connecting 36 jetties across 10 island communities. The first phase of this project has already kick-started, and it comprised 23 boats, which has a carrying capacity of 100 passengers. And the second phase is intended for 55 boats with a passenger capacity of 50 numbers. And these vessels, and this project is developed fully by Cochin Shipyard in-house design team and constructed, and the construction is under progress. Coming to the fishing segment, we have built around 16 fishing vessels, high-end fishing vessels for the coastal fishermen communities, and there is a potential for 10,000 plus such boats within the country. And government is driving this segment through their flagship program called Blue Revolution Scheme. And the main intent of this scheme is to diverse from coastal trawling to deep sea fishing, a kind of a sustainable uh, uh, sustainable fishing for the country. We have also built and delivered successfully ro-ro vessels for the inland waterways within the country. And with these vessels, actually, the main intent is to shift the traffic, cargo movement traffic from road to waterways. And we see a huge potential in terms of efficiency and emissions and reduction in the greenhouse gas emissions. Coming into Cochin Shipyard specifics, we have a global customer footprint, and presently we own and operate 7 pan-India facilities across the east and west coast. Our main campus houses 2 large dry docks, and one new large dry dock is under construction and is scheduled for commissioning by end of next year. CSL also focuses on ship repairs, and both on our main campus as well as our Mumbai, Kolkata, and Andaman ship repair facilities. We are also setting up a large ship lift facility near to our main campus, which can actually lift vessels of 6,000 tons. Multiple new acquisitions for capacity enhancement has been undertaken by CSL. This actually includes our recent acquisition of Tema Shipyards and the Hooghly Dock and Port Engineers Limited facility, which we are upgrading the infrastructure. These 2 facilities presently we are dedicating them to inland and coastal shipbuilding of vessels around 100 meters in length. We have a proven track record of successful statistics supported by a strong workforce and financially robust ecosystem. We have completed almost 180 plus new building projects and repaired around 2,500 vessels. We have served almost 20 plus global clients in our new building projects, and all this has been supported by our 600 plus strong workforce and 500 plus active vendors. We have around 30 plus global collaboration partners, and our annual turnover is 390 million euros plus. So these are our example our projects spanning across commercial, offshore, short sea, and inland vessels. This ranges from bulk carriers, passenger ships, offshore vessels, tankers, tugs, PSVs, ro-ro ferries, and hybrid boats. Into our defense portfolio, we have our aircraft carrier for the Indian Navy, which is presently under advanced stages of construction and is getting ready for trials. And we also have the anti-submarine shallow water crafts under construction for the Indian Navy. And we also have designs developed completely in-house for hydrographic survey vessels, pollution control vessels, offshore patrol vessels, and fast patrol vessels. CSL now has operations spanning both east and west coast, uh, mainly at Mumbai, Malpe, Cochin, and Kolkata. As a recap, CSL will be a trusted partner who delivers on European quality, performance, and value standards and at competitive prices. And our product mix covers tankers, bulk carriers, tugs, dredgers, etc. And uh, we are also building the India's first indigenous aircraft carrier. We have demonstrated a proven track record. Our international clientele uh, uh, spanning countries like Norway, Germany, Netherlands, and USA. We also have a collaborative approach. We have around 30 plus partners at various segments and projects. And lastly, actually, our human resource and infrastructure uh, aspects. We have developed local expertise with the support of international players, and we have dedicated training and skill development institutes in-house within the art. And coming to our expectations from the Russian industry is we come to this forum mainly with 5-point expectations. Sorry. First is for collaboration to develop unique designs for international and Indian markets and creating commercial opportunities via referring to existing relationships. Secondly, is recognizing our interest in developing inland water transport vessels and infrastructure development vessels, including dredgers, for both domestic and international markets. Thirdly, recognizing our interest in developing ice-class polar vessels for international markets. Fourthly, recognizing our interest in building fishing vessels for domestic and international clients. And finally, recognizing interest in developing other defense and commercial vessels as per the domestic requirements coming up within India. And with this, I conclude our presentation. Thank you.
Mr. Swami, thank you so much for such a good presentation that described as not only the facilities of Cochin shipyard, but also the opportunities of interaction to Russian market and the trends of dynamically developing shipbuilding market of India as a whole. And we congratulate you with this success, and we hope that amongst your dignified international partners, soon Russian partners will appear. And you have mentioned that you are interested in the unique design of the vessel's development, and we hope that our successful work with Russian design bureaus will go on successfully. So we inspire Russian design bureaus to cooperate in this field. And as for the polar class, ice class vessels on Neva International 2021 exhibition, we will dedicate a special attention to Arctic vessels and the cooperation in this direction. So we would like to request your interaction in this Arctic direction, in Arctic field as well. And of course, we invite you to our exhibition, and we are ready to provide all the relevant support for any issues that you are interested in. And I would also like to deviate from the program a little bit, and I would like to indicate the participation of Mr. Gurbinder Sinder. Mr. Singh, are you here with us? Mr. Singh, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Good afternoon once again, Mr. Singh. I would like to remind the participants that Indian Council for Promotion for Export of Engineering Indian Companies is today with us and supporting this event, and we would like to express our deep gratitude to Mr. Singh for this. And I would like to draw attention to the following. Global Trade Marine is your target partner in the Russian market, and we have already described the successful experience of cooperation with international companies, taking Korean companies as the example, and I hope this successful example will give an impetus to the development of Russian-Indian relationship, and we suggest to jointly elaborate the route map for main niches and main fields of cooperation in the Russian market that might be interested to EPC members and engineering companies for efficient promotion of these companies in the Russian market. What do you think about this?
First of all, I must thank you for this wonderful session, and I was very impressed to see the presentation. I totally agree that there's a huge market for collaboration, and we really, once after the pandemic is over, I believe your event is also scheduled for September. We would be keen in participating and exploring more opportunities with you, and we would be really glad to do continuously do these kinds of interactions where we can invite more members. This time, due to the paucity of time, we couldn't invite more members, but we would definitely be keen in doing engaging with you on the other subjects also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Singh, and I hope today's event will become the beginning of successful interaction. We hope to have a great cooperation with you, and we are keen to meet you, and we are looking forward to participation of Marine Global Trade. I fully agree with you. I hope, I'm sure it will be a very interesting start of a mutually beneficial cooperation. We hope the pandemic will be over very soon, and we will be able to meet each other personally when the borders will be opened, and we will be able to personally share our opinions and discuss all the tools for cooperation. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Singh. I give the floor to Anastasia Kobzeva. Dear participants, thank you very much for your participation, for your presentations. I hope that information exchange from the point of view of understanding of the markets, mutual understanding of the markets was useful. We have indicated the directions for potential cooperation, and I guess with the help of the modern communication facilities, we will be able to find each other easily, or you can contact us. And the best way is to come to NIVA exhibition in September in St. Petersburg. We will talk and discuss everything personally. Thank you very much. I think I would like to thank our technical services who supported us a lot, and I hope we will meet each other soon. Yes? See you soon. Thank you all the Indian participants and partners and speakers for the support of this event. We are looking forward to new events and we hope our activities will bring their results. Thank you.
Thank you.